Hello, hello, beautiful people. I'm so excited to be here live today. I am about to go live with intimacy and liberation coach Danielle Aubrey Smith, and we are going to talk all things self-trust and so much more. So she will be joining us here in just a moment. Yay! For those of you joining, welcome. I hope you're somewhere comfy on the other side of the screen. Hope you're having a beautiful day so far. Hey, Justin, what's up?
Hello.
Hello. Hi, gorgeous.
Good
How are you?
morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. I'm so glad the sun is out today. It's not pouring rain. We get to be outside. It's amazing.
I know. I
Yeah.
know.
How are things
Beautiful. I
going
was
with you with the process of the launch of your big program?
They're going well. They're going really well. I feel like I've been getting initiated left and right.
Mm.
We have some awesome people joining here. Just to give you all context, Danielle and I are going live today to talk all about self-trust,
Yeah.
particularly as women,
Mm-hmm.
and in how we navigate dating, love, and relationships. And she's asking about a program that I recently opened the doors to that I co-host and co-lead with my partner, Ani. And it is for single women who are doing the inner work that are ready to start attracting men who are doing the inner work, who are ready to commit, who are
Mm-hmm.
ready to take the lead. And it's been incredible. I have been receiving so many lessons for myself that have prepared me
Mm.
to be the kind of woman to lead this work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so beautiful. I'd love to hear some of these lessons are coming up. I know we chatted the other day when we connected, and I feel like there's been one initiation after the next. And I find in that process, it's all because of, what we're choosing to lead. And we have to move through it. We have to own it for ourselves so that we can actually, allow other people to step into that space as well. So I'm curious
Yeah.
of maybe like one that stands out to you as like, okay, this was really big. This really like initiated me in a whole new way that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. Thank you for asking. I was thinking on this morning, this idea that it can be easy,
Mm,
that this process of creating the kind of life that we desire can be easy. And in truth, it's
wow.
simple.
Yeah.
The concept of this is simple. And what I've seen in myself for pretty much my entire life, particularly as borrowed ideals from my dad,
Yeah.
is that I have to work really hard, like really hard,
Mm,
like break my back, bust my ass
yeah.
to make it in life, to have
Yeah.
what I want. And even when I work really hard, not much comes of it. Now
Hmm.
I prefer to not entertain that ideal anymore because it's not the objective truth.
Right.
And I've been looking at that through the lens of business. And as I'm really questioning my own beliefs about the fact that things can feel and be much easier,
Hmm.
I'm asking how I can be an embodiment of that teaching so that as women date and call in partners, they can also entertain the possibility that it can be simple and easy for
Yes.
them. That love doesn't have to be some elusive idea that
Mm,
they're never going to get, that they don't get to have, that it's easy for everyone else,
hmm.
or that they're going to keep playing out these patterns, but that there is genuinely a path where we can create ourselves to be an energetic and emotional match for the kind of relationship we desire. And it can be
Absolutely.
easier than we think.
Yeah. I love that. And I find it's like all reprogramming, like you were saying, from your childhood, from even, my clients and people around me say things like, I'm just never going to find the right person, or I'm never going to find the person that meets me deeply, or dating is hard, or the apps are hard. But that's just all programming. And then you're obviously attracting that around you. But if you can come to that place of it can be easy, and that's just such, I feel like that's such a relief, and allows us as women to really be in our feminine, to really
Mm-hmm.
be in that archive that we so desire to be in, and not that hustle grind, how we were raised, because I was raised the same way with my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and actually lean into, no, like, who am I truly as a woman, and how can I attract from that space? So I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's been a huge learning for me in this
Yeah.
process. And I'm learning to question some of the rigid beliefs that I've held for most of my life. And it feels like
Mm-hmm.
such a beautiful unraveling process.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So in the process of that initiation, how have you been like tuning into yourself and noticing the difference of when you're in that space of maybe the old way of doing things and feeling like it's hard and those old thoughts come in? How do you disrupt that pattern to kind of go into, no, this is what I'm choosing to cultivate now?
Mm. I've noticed that pattern in some very ordinary moments.
Mm,
And so there are certain moments where there is an extravaganza realization, and then I'll move into something like dance
mm,
or
mm,
meditation to be able to shift. But
yeah.
honestly, I have to say that most of the moments when I have these breakthroughs are remarkably
Mm,
ordinary, and they
mm,
happen in my thoughts. If you looked at me, it looks like I'm sitting at my computer
yeah.
typing. It's such an unremarkable moment in sort of the way we imagine spiritual breakthroughs happen, where
Yeah.
it's like this download, and it's honestly not. It's these ordinary moments when I notice that I'm leaving the dishes in the sink and
Mm,
allowing my clothes to go unfolded, and
mm,
letting my car get dirty. And these things are, very trivial ideas.
yeah.
But then I stop and I'm like, if I really looked at every area of my life and lived it right now as if I already had everything I desired,
Mm,
how would I
mm,
show up to these very ordinary, trivial
yeah.
moments? Would I go get my car washed
Mm,
and really
mm,
feel how it feels to get inside of a clean car
mm,
and smell the
mm,
new car smell
yeah.
and
Yeah.
see my tires shined and
Mm,
feel clear and clean when I look around my apartment?
yeah.
And so there are all of these very ordinary experiences that I'm really looking to cultivate and align with the identity that I'm wanting to create for myself. And when
Absolutely.
I ask women in their lives, how would that look for you in dating and love?
Yeah.
Would it be that when you're at the coffee shop alone, would you be on your phone, or would
Mm,
you be deliciously enjoying your cappuccino with your
mm,
eyes gazing up and just taking
mm,
in the people
mm,
and the environment and the aromas around you?
yeah.
Would there be an openness in your posture? Would there be an
Mm,
openness in your energy that welcomes in the possibility of an interaction, whether that be romantic or not? Even
right.
a friendly interaction with the barista.
Yeah.
Like, how are we approaching these very ordinary moments? Because
Hmm.
yes, we can have incredible breakthroughs in plant medicine ceremonies and
Right.
downloads in meditation, and we are an amalgamation of ordinary moments
Yeah.
and ordinary choices.
Mm,
And
mm,
when we really show up to those trivial moments where things aren't romantic and poetic,
yeah.
are we showing up to those moments as if we are already the person that has the life we desire?
Yeah. Yeah. That's lovely. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes back to even what you originally said, was it can be easy.
Yeah.
It's just a pattern interruption versus this whole mindset around healing, and it's hard, and it's like, no, it's a slight adjustment to not being on my phone, and I'm going to choose to be aware of how my body is right now. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's it comes down to, it is more simple if we allow it to be, if
Yeah.
we actually tell ourselves that it can be, instead of, the people around us maybe saying things a certain way, or our own programming, or maybe things we used to say. It's like, no, I think even that as an affirmation
Mm.
it can be easy. It can be easy.
Yeah.
It is easy. And allowing that to then be ingrained in ourselves versus how we were raised or whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's interesting because I just stumbled upon this. I think I was telling you this when I saw you. I just stumbled upon this modality called rapid resolution therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and it works with memory reconsolidation, which is helping us relate to and recall our memories in a different
Mm-hmm.
way. And that's
Mm-hmm.
layman's terms. I am not studied in that modality. And I remember being in a session with my therapist for the first time, and we were doing a lot of early narrative work, particularly around this working hard, bust your ass to make something
Yeah.
in the world
Right.
idea. And we went through multiple processes, and she's like, okay, you're
Mm-hmm.
good. And I'm like, hold on, doc. Like, you're going to tell me it's that easy?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I had that come up, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Why wouldn't I at least want to believe that it could be that easy?
Yeah.
How would it benefit me to continue thinking that it's hard? Like, what is it that
Mm.
I'm holding on to that I'm continuing to be like, it can't be that easy. You're pulling a fast one on me,
Wow.
or
Yeah.
love can't be that good, or he can't be that trustworthy, whatever the narrative is
Mm.
as we're
Right.
approaching relationships.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? Enough of that. Whether
Mm.
this session did anything or not, I want to choose to believe that in one session with a particular approach, that my life, that I can show up and radically change my life in a single moment.
Right.
Why the hell not?
Yeah. Exactly. What a gift. My goodness.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah,
yeah.
it was reminding me even when you were saying about it can be easy and then also just the posture of how we choose to go about the world.
Mm.
And I was having a conversation with a friend at a birthday party a couple weeks ago as I'm, moving through a breakup. And he's like, "Do you feel like your heart is open?" And I
Mm.
was like, instantly, or the question he actually asked was, "Where do you feel blocked?" And I was like, well, instantly I felt in my heart
Mm.
because I feel like I'm not open to anything else right now. I'm not open to necessarily dating. I'm like, no, I'm like, ugh. And I find that it's a whole posture change. And he's like, can you sit down with me for a minute? And I said, sure. He's like, can I put my hand on your heart? And I said, yes. And instantly I realized my eyes were closed and tears streaming down my face, all of the beliefs coming through that were these narratives in my head that were keeping my heart closed, not because of any other reason, but the lies I was choosing to believe.
Mm.
And once those voices, it was like, bam, this one, this one, this one, this one. I'm never going to find love again, or I'm not going to be met this deeply again, or whatever it may be. I was allowed to then drop those and choose to consciously open myself.
Mm.
And I love that way of being because I feel like every morning since this experience a couple weeks ago, every morning in my meditation, I've been consciously, I'm just going to open and not
Mm.
necessarily open to just open to life,
Yeah.
just open to the possibility of what wants to come in, open to the possibility of abundance, open to the possibility of loving myself more deeply and accepting this is where I am, but noticing like how we choose to walk or how we choose to hold certain parts of our bodies closed because of these certain lies or beliefs. And instead, a pattern disrupt like this conversation I had with my friend is like, okay, it can be simple. I'm just going to choose to open my chest a little bit more and picture my heart expanding.
Oh, I just got
Yeah.
chills. I
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. What a beautiful interaction. Like
Yeah.
that's friendship, first
Yeah.
of all. But
Yeah.
and what would you mind if I share what came up as you shared that?
Sure, please.
There's I think of like the voices that we have in
Mm.
our minds that say like
Mm-hmm.
this is never going to happen again. I'm never
Right.
going to be met this deeply again.
Right.
And I'm like, what else does that voice imply? There
Mm-hmm.
is the stance of I'm never going to be met this deeply again. And if we like positioned ourselves 1 degree differently to
Mm-hmm.
look at that same perspective,
Right.
the other thing that comes through is like, wow, look how deeply I was met.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
and like the the fact that there was such depth, that there is the idea that it might not happen again, the implication that you were met so deeply and
Yeah.
that you opened yourself so deeply,
Yeah.
that you took the bold step to really go there in that
Yeah.
relationship, to really see yourself, to see him,
Mm.
to be seen. Wow. Like, what an
Yeah.
exquisite act of femininity,
Yeah.
humanity,
Yeah.
courage. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that you did that and you inhabited that space
Mm.
is such cool evidence that you can
Yeah.
and you get to,
Right.
and first and foremost to yourself and to life. And that at whatever point it feels right to do that with another human again in
Right.
that way, then how lucky is he?
Right. Yeah. And even while you were speaking, I was just being reminded of, when we're in the thick of it, when this last season, I think for a lot of us has been initiation after initiation, death and rebirth, and just intense in a lot of ways. And in our humanity, we can tend to just see what's right in front of us. We can just
Mm-hmm.
see it's like, oh, we're in it. This is hard. This is whatever it may be. And if we can just take a step back sometimes and be able to look at the aerial view of wherever you are and
Mm.
allow for new truths to come in, it just can rearrange things so beautifully. And I feel like that's what I've been encouraged to do recently, just in my own healing journey and my own process. It's like, okay, Danielle, of course, these
Mm.
voices feel really loud right now, these thoughts coming through, just like with my conversation with my friend, is like, what if there were just a simple question of where do you feel the block? Let's feel that. And let's not ponder in that. Let's not swim in that too long, because
Yeah.
something beautiful is on the other side of it if we allow ourselves to feel it fully and then,
Mm-hmm.
like see what wants to come through afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that really inspires something that you and I were talking about the other day, which I've been thinking about a lot lately as I'm creating, as I'm putting together all of this body of
Yeah.
work into the course that is Aligned
Yes.
Attraction. One of the course content modules and the teachings inside the program is that we must accept loss as a part of the experience of love. And
Mm.
it's interesting because in our westernized culture, we've been really conditioned into like instant gratification, dopamine hits,
Right.
TikTok, Instagram reels, fast
Yeah.
food,
All of
and
it.
it doesn't require a lot for the hit of dopamine. Yet when we look at other spiritual traditions, inherent in their way of life is the spectrum of all that exists, which is when
Right.
there's light, there's dark. When there
Mm.
is left, there is right. When there is love, there is loss. When
Mm.
there is desire, there is that desire also going unfulfilled
Mm.
because love could not be what it is without loss. It just
Mm.
wouldn't exist as a concept.
Mm.
And so the the inherent in the experience of calling in love and being in such deep relationship, right? In the way that you were, inherent in that is the possibility of loss, of disappointment, of heartache, and wonderful moments and intimacy and
Mm.
connection and all of the things. And I think when we actually just sit and assess and be with the emotions and the experiences that come up, like you were saying,
Yeah.
we I think we get to recognize like, okay, I'm choosing the possibility of loss in love. I'm
Right.
choosing the possibility of disappointment in joy. And we
Mm.
get to just like really contemplate that experience and be with it
Mm-hmm.
and maybe not dwell so much in it, but recognize that, okay, this is the full package that we're
Yeah.
choosing. And I think in even contemplating the fullness of the experience, we get to like really step into the choice of it all and recognize that we are choosing all of it. And sometimes it doesn't feel very good or comfortable.
Right.
And like, wow, how much more empowering does it feel when we're like, okay, like we're doing it all,
Yeah.
eyes wide open.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. It's like the risk involved in choosing what can come on the other side of the risk is so much better than
Yeah.
the pain that comes from the breakup or comes from the divorce or whatever it may be, the loss, as you had mentioned.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, for me and in all my experiences with the partners I've been with, they've all been risks, but they've all been, they've, the pleasure and the joy have outweighed the risks every time.
Yeah.
And none of them looking back and thinking regret, more so just like how grateful I am for the experiences that I've had. And now
Mm-hmm.
the tools that I have to heal from it, to move forward, to be kind to myself, to trust myself and the
Yeah.
choices I've made. But, it's
Yeah.
like I find love is always the right answer. If there's love present, if that's the opportunity or the invitation, that's always the right choice. If you get to
Yeah.
expand more in loving yourself and loving somebody else, you know, I like to think about it like always leave whatever partner may be better off than you found them. So loving deeply and fully, even if that means it's for a short stint of time, it's still worth it. Because that's why
Yeah.
we came here, was to love. So
Yes.
yeah.
100 million thousand infinity%.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's as you say that, I'm like, on the other side, and even through all of the adversity that we experience in this human life, like who we become to navigate those moments in life, who we cultivate ourselves and forge ourselves to be is
Right.
usually even more of who we already knew we were, but that
Yes.
we then get to reveal to ourselves by virtue of like really going
Mm,
through whatever we're going through, be it a joyful
yeah.
moment or a really challenging moment.
Right.
It's really very poetic.
Yeah. It is. And what would you say to someone that is scared to risk again, that is, been through heartbreak or has gone through a really messy, hard divorce and wants love, wants to experience the fullness of partnership in a conscious relationship and all the things, beautiful things that come with that, but they're scared
Mm-hmm.
and they might be the person on their phone at the coffee shop instead of sitting open, what would be something that you would say to them?
Oh, I love that. The first thing that comes through is like, it's okay, sweet one. Like it's okay
Yeah.
to feel scared.
Yeah.
It's totally okay to feel scared.
Mm,
And
mm,
I get why you would feel scared because you really opened up and it felt probably wonderful for a time and then it felt really challenging and it caused
mm.
you to want to go
Yeah.
inside. I would say, oh my gosh, there is such a special space here for all the parts of you that feel
Mm,
scared, that feel worried, that feel anxious.
mm-hmm.
And can we just create a space here to take all those parts of you and curl them up into little balls, like
Mm,
cuddled up, and can we hold them in our arms with such sweet regard, with such
yeah.
love and warmth? And can we create a space for those parts of you that feel that way? And then can I speak to another part of you that
Mm,
knows 100 fucking% that you would not be doing this life any other way than to again take the exquisite risk of opening your heart, of sticking your flag in the ground, of standing way the fuck up and being like, yo, this is what I'm here to do.
yeah.
And can I speak to that one and ask him or her, like, what other way would you choose to move through life
Mm,
than not to take the bold, courageous risk of like leaving it all on the dance floor and being
yeah.
like, by the time I exit this life in this form, what will you want to say to yourself? Will you want to say, like, I fucking did it?
Yeah.
And there was not a stone left unturned in my life about
Mm,
how I chose to love myself and others and the mark that
mm,
I'm leaving in the world now as a result of my choice in every moment
mm,
to be like the biggest, boldest, most authentic version of myself.
yeah.
And how can you what does that look like in every moment? And can
Yeah.
we create an equal space for all the parts that feel scared and apprehensive and disappointed and
Absolutely.
let down as
Yeah.
we can for the parts that are like, I'm here.
Yep.
Like sound the alarm bells, put
We're
on the
doing that.
neon lights, like
Yeah.
roll out the red carpet, let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, it's like sometimes with my clients and even with myself, I like to picture each part of us like at this beautiful banquet table.
Yeah.
And each feeling and emotion has a seat at the table. So disappointment and grief and heartbreak and pleasure and in all these beautiful parts, they get to have a space.
Yeah.
And then you also get to choose that they don't all get to talk at the same time.
Yeah.
They can pass the microphone around, they can all have room, but then you can also be like, okay, thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. I'm looking at my table because I'm looking at my chairs. And yet you get to still make that bold move, taking a little step forward because of trusting ourselves, because of tuning in and feeling that fuck yes in our system. Be like, hey, we're going to do this. We don't know how it's going to turn out. We don't know what's going to be on the other side. But yet I'm going to trust that this is meant for me. Even if it lasts 6 weeks, even if it's 5 years, whatever it may be. And my dog is very passionate in the background right now. I don't know if you can hear him. He's like playing with his
Yeah, he's
toy.
going.
He is super stoked about this conversation. So yeah, I think it's like so beautiful to welcome, like you said, all those parts of ourselves and yet see the other side of the coin. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that and that imagery, right? Rumi, you may have heard this poem, but it's called Guest House, and it's just
Mm,
welcoming all of these parts of us. And when I think
yeah.
of that banquet table,
Yeah.
like who is the central figure at that banquet table? It's the king or queen that sits at the head of their
Yes.
kingdom or queendom. And there is
Absolutely.
one central figure that is the leader, the moderator, the facilitator that
Mm-hmm.
can give space to all the voices, but they're
Mm,
still the central figure. We can call it our higher selves, our
right.
truest self, the king, the queen, whatever archetype we want to tap into. And even in the challenging moments, that central figure still exists within us. It is the one that is always tapped into source, God, that which
Yeah.
is greater,
Mm,
that says, all right, how do we want to move into this next moment? So I love that
mm,
you called that imagery forward because
yeah.
it resonates so deeply.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good for me to like almost separate it from myself.
Mm,
So being like, okay, this feeling gets to be here, this feeling, yes, it's a part of me, but it's not driving, it's not the driving force of my life.
right.
I get to then, like you said, the higher version of myself, the one that's connected to God, is the one that's driving. So I'm going
Yeah.
to let you say here, I'm going to let you say here, and you guys all get to speak up. But then in the
Hmm.
end, I get to then make the choice that's best for me and
Yes.
best for my highest self and for my kids and for my future and for my business. So it's like
Mm,
allowing them all to be
yes.
present and then having the invitation to step in and be like, okay, this is the highest choice for myself.
Yes. Yeah.
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 It's such a good visual.
It is
Yeah.
the imagery that just came through for me as you were saying that is this is, I think anybody listening can sort of take this and try it on if it feels good, but I think in my life of what it would be like, how sexy and fun and deep and dark and expansive and light it would feel to be the dominatrix of my life.
Mm,
And when we think of like
yeah.
dom sub dynamics
Yes.
outside of, conventional contortion,
Right.
when there is a dom, a male dom or a female dom, a dominatrix, they are
Mm,
so deeply attuned to the
mm,
submissive. They're not like
mm,
whipping and without attunement and care. There's such deep
mm,
care and
yeah.
sensitivity to the needs of the submissive, or in this case, the needs of all of our parts, the
Right.
disappointment, the sadness, the sorrow, the lust,
Mm,
the jealousy. And as the head dom saying like, okay, now it's your turn to speak. Tell me
yeah.
what you have to say. I want to hear everything.
So good.
And then there gets to be this like playful, erotic, creative energy where there's a
Mm,
co-creation, but there's always someone in charge that is deeply attuned to all of the
yes.
parts and
Yes.
so attentive, but everybody knows who's in charge.
Right.
And the submissives in this reference also have a lot of power, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're being a submissive isn't a powerless role.
Right.
There's a lot of active choice in surrender and a lot of
Yes.
courage. So
Mm.
how can we even take that kind of analogy and have
Yeah.
fun with it as we're doing the inner work in a way
Right.
that it doesn't have to be so hard?
Right. Yeah, I feel like it's the polarity of the masculine and the feminine while you were talking. It's like, can we bring balance to our own internal masculine and feminine? Like the Dom being, I would see in my mind, would be like the masculine is beautifully cradling and holding the feminine, which is the feminine is the emotional body, is the one that's bringing up all the things that needs room at the table for all the emotions. It's like, can you create safety in your body, allowing permission for your masculine to hold your feminine so that she can be fully expressed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So good. Goosebumps.
yeah, I know.
I love it. Yeah. So juicy. Ah.
Yeah.
Well, I would love for you
Yeah.
to share a little bit about your program so that everybody here can hear. I think you said tomorrow is the last day to sign up for at least for this round.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to just have a little overview of what people would be getting into and diving into in this juicy work that you and your partner are doing.
Absolutely. So I'll start by sharing like the vibe, the energy of this program and this body of work is we support women to learn how to cultivate such a deep space of safety within themselves
Mm,
so that even in relationship to themselves, especially in relationship to themselves, they feel so deeply safe to see, experience, witness, hold, and express all parts of themselves. Every
mm,
emotion, thought, fear, boundary, desire, and especially desire, because it
mm,
is desire that pulls us forward in life toward the destinations and the ways of being that we wish to experience.
yeah.
Right? We're really creating a safe container for women to be pulled forth by desire instead of running away from what they no longer wish to
Mm,
experience in dating and love.
mm,
So the the most expansive way I can explain this is what would it feel like to feel so deeply connected to and in safety with all parts of you, such
mm,
that it feels natural and seamless and easy to walk through the world confidently, authentically, as if you've always got your own back, no matter
mm,
what guy
mm.
comes and goes,
Yeah.
no matter what jobs and work and money comes and goes, that there is this like grounding rod of self-knowing that you're like,
Mm,
all right, like let's fucking go.
yeah.
Like I say that phrase to myself all the time. Like, let's fucking go. Like
Yeah.
let's do this.
Yeah. I love that.
So what would it feel like to walk through life in that way? And because the program is specifically for single women who are wanting to really attract high quality men, committed masculine men who are doing the inner work,
Yeah.
how easy would it be that if you showed up like that with yourself in your life and you walked through the world in that way, in a
Yeah.
way that felt authentic, would it be for you to attract men that are like, yeah, you're doing that work, I'm doing that work
Mm,
too. Let's do it together. Like
yes.
easy,
So hot.
natural.
Yes.
You know, it's like peanut
Mm,
butter and jelly. You know what
yum.
I mean?
Yeah.
Spaghetti and meatballs, they just go together.
Yeah.
And as we cultivate ourselves to be even more of who we are, we
Mm,
become an energetic match, an emotional match for the men in life who are like, I'm out here doing that thing too.
yeah.
Like, let's tango for however long we're going to tango. Let's
Love
have
it.
it be great. And so that's the feeling of the program. And we really aim to model what that's like, both individually, my partner and I, as people who are always cultivating ourselves to walk through life in that way, and as a couple in partnership who's really doing the inner work. And we do
Mm,
not proclaim to have it all figured out. Like we navigate stuff all the time.
yeah.
And so we really aim to be healthy models, self-exploring models of what that can look like. And then we help you
Mm,
create that for yourself in your dating and love life. And
mm,
so that's the feeling of the program. And then the logistics is that it's an 8-week group coaching format. And we have a course that shares with you all the information you would need
mm,
in a very um, distilled, potent way that would give
mm,
you all of the teachings, spiritual, metaphysical, psychological, you know, relational. And we pair that course with the group coaching calls
Mm.
to really help you implement everything into your life. So it's a lot of implementation. Like, let's get in the arena, let's roll up our sleeves, let's live this way now. This is not
Yeah.
theory or concept for us to store away as book knowledge. It's like, let's just
Mm.
be the women who
Let's do
already
it.
have the love life we want. Done.
Mm.
And then when the man or men arrive, cool, cherry
Yeah.
on top. So
Beautiful.
let's just live that way now. And
Yeah.
that's how we roll.
I love that. Well, it sounds like a juicy program.
Yes.
Sign me up. I'm super excited for you. And I can't wait to hear how these women feel so empowered and how it's going to change the world. Because I feel like when women can really step into their full liberation and power, it's going to change the way things are done.
Mm.
We can already see that. We can already see what's happening in society. So
Yeah.
more of that, please. And
Yes.
also for me, I do singles events here in Austin. So I have one coming up at Kuya, which is a local Austin space on the 21st, which is Sunday. And then I have one the first Monday of every month. So if you're curious about meeting other juicy singles, amazing people that are forward thinking, that are also on the path, yeah, reach out to me or check out my website, wildbloomhealth.com, or message me on Instagram. This is really the best place to connect with me. So I love this
that.
conversation.
Me
I want to
too.
continue. I feel like we should do this again.
Well,
So natural and easy to talk with you, and I'm just so excited for you and your partner in this launch and all that's coming. I just feel so much excitement, energy around what you're creating and building, and I just feel so grateful to be able to support in any way that I can.
thank you. Thank you. This was
Yeah.
such a, I feel so much more energized than I did
Me
before.
too.
So thank you for this space, for this beautiful co-creation. And I kind of want to come to your singles event. I'm not single, but I just want
Yes.
to be in the vibe of like
Please come. Please
connection.
come.
Oh my God. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I will.
Okay, good. I'll see you Sunday.
Amazing. I love this. Thank you so much, Danielle.
Oh, yeah, you're so welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon.
Likewise.
Okay,
Take care, everyone.
bye.